1997, classified as a first felony offender. Offense, carnal knowledge of a juvenile felony. Sentencing dates are January 24th, 2018 and December 14th, 2018. Sentenced to a total of 5 years. Parole date is February 10th, 2022. Good time, not eligible. Full term, May 10th, 2023. Is this information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Parole.
Thank you. How you doing, Miss Ambers?
I'm doing all right.
Good, good. Are you surprised you in jail?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Because,
How's that?
Because I ain't mean to do what happened.
Are you, to answer this one, are you referring to the crime or how you conducted yourself on probation?
Well, really, the crime.
That's what I thought you was referring to, but I was referring to how you conducted yourself on supervision. That's what I was referring to. Because we cannot go back and undo the crime. The crime has been done.
Yes, ma'am.
The sentence has been passed.
Yes, ma'am.
I do want to inform you, as a part of this process, we reach out to the law enforcement community as well as the victim to get their opinion about release. And the law enforcement community is opposed to your release. And I Mr. Ambers, I need you to understand, they are opposed because that's criminal behavior.
Yes, ma'am.
There are a lot of other factors, yes, but it was criminal behavior.
Yes, ma'am.
And a whole lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, but it was still criminal behavior.
Yes, ma'am.
We all have done things we wish you hadn't done. And when we reached out to the victim, I do want you to know that the victim is unopposed to your release. Now, I think it's important that you know that.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that mean anything to you?
It's hurtful because in the process of the stuff happening, you could have just stand up and let your mama know what really was going on.
Okay, now I said that she was unopposed. That means she is not against you getting out early.
Oh, all right.
Okay, that's why I thought you had misunderstood. No, she's hoping that you get out.
Yes, ma'am.
Unopposed, not opposed, but unopposed.
All right, yes, ma'am.
But now the law enforcement, they are against you getting out early. But she's not. And I also need you to understand that her statements, she did say in her thing that her statements were not listened to. But I need you to understand that because she was a minor, her statements really is not a factor in charging you.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you need to appreciate, the law side of this.
Yes, ma'am.
She's done all that she can do. Have you gotten any substance abuse treatment since you've been in jail?
Yes, ma'am. I'm taking substance abuse class right now. I got 2 more phases, and I'll be done in February. And I'm in GED, trying to get my GED. So
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Mrs. Wise.
Yes, sir.
Wise, would you ask the defendant to speak up? I can hardly hear.
Okay. Would you please speak up a little? Can hardly hear you. Okay.
I'm
good.
in the substance abuse class. I got 2 more phases. I complete in February. I'm taking my GED so I can have my education. So when I get out, I can get a good job and better myself and never make this mistake again.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Now, what about the sex offender treatment? Are you in those classes?
Yes, ma'am. I got 2 more phases. I complete the class in February.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Tell me at least one thing you've learned in substance abuse classes that you didn't know.
I learned that this class would help me go home. I learned that if you want to stay out, you got to do what you got to do to better yourself, and you can't go back to doing the same thing again. And I learned that if you want to be a better person, you got to limit yourself from hanging around bad people.
Okay, all right. Well, the first thing you said kind of broke my heart. You said the class will help you go home. I hate to hear that. That shouldn't be the motivation for taking the class, but you were honest. You're just being honest. The motivation for the department to offer those classes is so that you won't come back. You get the skills that you need to make better decisions when you get out. That's really what the classes are for. All righty. Thank you for answering my questions. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Officer, what can you tell us about this young man?
I don't really know much about Mr. Ambers other than he's at our facility. So I haven't had positive or negative feedback from Mr. Ambers. So as far as I can tell, he's been a model inmate.
Well, good. It's good to hear. Thank you.
I have a question, Madam Chairman, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr.
I
Maribel.
wasn't- My little fat fingers weren't fast enough to get up on that thing. Mr. Ambers, let me ask you a couple of questions. Now, it sounds like you're upset because you're in prison because you and this girl had consensual sex even though she was underage.
Yes,
Okay?
sir. Yes, sir.
Now, it sounds to me that the judge and the DA all recognize that by putting you on probation.
Yes, sir.
You didn't go to prison on these charges. You were given probation, right? And there were certain things you were required to do.
Yes, sir.
Get a substance abuse evaluation and follow treatment.
Yes, sir.
Go to go to sex offender classes.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't do any of those things and got caught 4 times with marijuana in you. Why didn't you do those things?
To be honest with you, I ain't had my head on my shoulders, but by them putting me in jail, it taught me a lesson to really go out there and do the right thing if I want to stay out and make it in life, because I can't do this no more here. I learned my lesson.
So let me back up just a second. You violated the law as Ms. Wise indicated to you. Everybody in authority recognized that it wasn't the kind of thing that maybe they'll send you to prison for. So they didn't. And they gave you an opportunity to stay out. So whose fault is it now? And I think I hear you saying, whose fault is it now that you're in jail?
It's my fault that I put myself in jail. It's my fault.
Now, were you just stubborn? Did you just think, well, hey, I didn't do anything wrong, so I shouldn't have to do that? Or were you too busy doing other things? Or were you smoking dope all the time and that's what kept you away from it? What was the reason that you didn't do the things you were ordered to do?
I'm not gonna use drugs as no excuse because that was on me to do that part. But at the same time, I just was trying to do other stuff. But now that, like I said, now that I'm locked up, it teaches me a lesson. If you want to make it and really stay out of here, do what the people tell you to do.
How long you been in jail,
I've been in
Mr.
jail.
Ambers?
I've been in jail 3 years.
Had you ever gone to jail before?
No, sir. This is my first time really being in jail.
Do you want to come back?
No, sir. I'm trying to do everything I got to do to stay out.
And I think what Ms. Wise was saying to you just a minute ago is that these programs are designed to help you learn things to keep you out of jail. They do assist you in getting home faster, but the reason you should hope to take those classes is to learn to be able to stay out, okay?
Yes,
I think you realize now what happens when you don't follow the rules.
yes,
I
sir.
mean, you end
come
up
back.
in jail. You know, I mean, the system was pretty good to you. They recognize that, hey, look, you're a young man. She was a young woman. Even though it's a violation of the law, we don't want to throw this young man away. So they gave you a chance, but you didn't take it. So I hope you take it this time.
And I blew my chance and I ended up coming to jail. But I got a head on my shoulder right now, and I'm gonna do everything that I said I'm gonna do to make it in life and stay out of jail.
That's a good thing. Thank you for talking with me. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Johnson, you want to give us an update, sir?
Sure. Mr. Ambers has been in our program since March of this year. Most of it was doing self-study time because of being shut down for COVID. He is currently in phase 3, and if I'm not mistaken, they will be taking that phase 3 test for our sex offender risk management next week or the week after. So he is on track at the moment to graduate in February of next year. And I want to make sure it's clear, I don't have any records of Mr. Ambers being in any substance abuse classes. I'm looking at, we use the Texas Christian University drug screen to determine which of the people that are in our sex offender program have substance abuse issues that are severe enough to warrant treatment. And in the self-assessment, he answered that there was no significant issues whatsoever from substance abuse in the 12 months before he was locked up. And so with the lowest score possible, it didn't trigger anything for us to put him in substance abuse classes.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So, Mr. Ambers, what substance abuse program are you in? What are you referring to that you're taking?
I'm taking the sex offender risk management program.
Okay, so you, I thought I heard you say you were in substance abuse classes. So you're telling me that you were not. You're not in substance abuse classes. I'm asking.
They gave me some substance abuse books to do the drug part.
Oh, okay, okay. Some kind of a self-study.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay then, all righty. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
I'll vote. I would vote first since this is my case. I'm just, my vote is to deny your parole until you can finish all of the programs that you're in. And I would like for you to do substance abuse, like of a substance abuse program prior to release. And I want you to write back for a rehearing as soon as you completed those programs. You're at a place where they'll get you back on as quickly as they can. But I ask that you reapply. And also what was concerned to me is your poor supervision history. You just walked away from supervision. So that is my vote to deny today with the suggestion that you reapply as soon as you're eligible after you finish the substance abuse program and after you finish the sex offender treatment program. That is my vote. Mr. Roche.
Mr. Ambers, I've been on this board for 6 years. Your supervision performance was as bad as I've seen. You didn't do anything you were supposed to do. You had a chance. The judge saw fit to suspend your entire sentence. All you had to do is 3 years of what the judge ordered as conditions of your supervision. You did nothing based on a poor supervision performance, and the entire legal community opposed to your release. The judge, the DA's office, the sheriff's office, the chief of police, across the board said you should not be released because of the crime and the supervision record. My vote is to deny.
Thank you, Mr. Marabella.
Mr. Ambers, I've enjoyed talking with you. I think you're on the right track. I think you're doing a lot better than you were when you were on the outside. But I do think that you need to get some knowledge about your substance abuse to be able to stay off of drugs when you get out. And certainly you have to have that sex offender treatment before we're able to let you out. So my vote today is to deny you, but I would encourage you, just as Ms. Wise has, to finish the sex offender program, get in a substance abuse program, and as soon as you do that, reapply for a parole, because if I'm still on the board and I get your case, I'd let you out after you do those programs. So good luck to you, sir.
All right. Thank you. I think that concludes our business. Thank y'all for accommodating us today. Y'all have a good one.
What a surprise, right? The judge gives leniency, says, you know what, I don't want to give you prison time. It was consensual, so we'll just give you a break, and boom, he gets revoked. He does nothing. He literally, as they said, did nothing. Mr. O'Shea said in all the years he hasn't seen someone so callously get revoked while being given a gift. And it's interesting. I wonder, I would love to get in data of this. I would love to understand how many judges do these type of things, and how many don't reoffend or don't get revoked. It's just, you have to think that a judge is doing this. You don't have to think it. You see enough of these and you become jaded. But I'd like to think that the judge has some type of insight why they're giving these breaks. Now, what is the charge that he was charged with? What does it mean in Louisiana? Here's the statute. Felony carnal knowledge of a juvenile. So the felony carnal knowledge of a juvenile is committed when, one, a person who is 17 years of age or older has sexual intercourse with consent with the person who is 13 years of age or older, but less than 17 years of age, when the victim is not the spouse of the offender itself, and when the difference between the age of the victim and the age of the offender is 4 years or greater. This is helpful to know. So it had to have been at least 4 years. So he's 26 today. He was convicted in 2018. So I think that makes him about 21 or 20 when he committed this crime. And it has to be a 4-year difference and under the age of 17. So that would make her, if I'm doing the math right, 13 years old. 13 or 14 years old. And like straight up, man, you can't, a 20, 21-year-old just like, what judge would give probation for that? They say, oh, it's consensual. It's not consensual. She's a little girl. The age difference, the maturity difference, it's I mean, if I did the quick math, it's not like she was 16 and he was 20. She was a baby. And the judge felt that what's the big deal? Probation. What's the big deal? Well, here you have it. You might not believe it if you didn't see it, but this is why we do this. It sounds redundant, but man, this Miss Wise interview style, it's funny. I it's different. It's different than it's but she has her own style. I know some of you really like her. I thought this was interesting, the way she took the approach, but it's very different than others. You don't really get, I feel you don't really get a sense of what he's thinking. You don't really get a sense of who he was when he committed the crime. I just don't get that from her interviews. But I know some of not everyone can be everyone will have their own different styles, right? I know I give her a hard time, but all right, with that, I'll let you go.